Captain Jenny Kim was drinking her morning coffee when the alarm rang through the ship. She put down her cup and walked quickly to the bridge of the human exploration vessel Endurance. The red lights were flashing, and her crew looked worried. "What's happening?" she asked. Engineer Minho Park turned from his computer screen. "Captain, we picked up a distress signal. It's coming from far away in the Kepler 442 system." Jenny moved to the main screen where crackling sounds filled the air. Through the static, a voice spoke in broken galactic standard, the language that all space-traveling species use to talk to each other. "This is research vessel, Harmony's Light," the voice said. It sounded scared and tired. "We have engine failure, caught in gravity well. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help immediately." Xenobiologist Sana Lee looked up from her station. She studied alien life forms and knew many different species. "Captain, the voice patterns sound like they're from the Viridian people. They're plant-like aliens who are very peaceful. They never fight anyone." Security Chief Jimin Choi frowned. He was responsible for keeping the crew safe. "Captain, there's something you should know. Most alien species in the galaxy are still afraid of humans. They think we're dangerous because we come from Earth." Jenny knew this was true. Throughout the galaxy, Earth was called a Class 12 death world. Other planets had gentle weather, friendly animals, and safe environments. Earth had hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, poisonous animals, and deadly diseases. Most aliens could not believe that any species could survive on such a dangerous planet. "They call us death spawn," Jimin continued. "Some aliens think humans are monsters who kill for fun. If we show up to help them, they might be more scared of us than whatever problem they already have." Minho checked his instruments. "The signal is getting weaker, Captain. If their ship is really caught in a gravity well, they don't have much time." Jenny thought about this. She remembered her training at the Space Academy. The first rule of space travel was simple: always help someone in trouble, and it didn't matter what species they were or what they thought about humans. "How long would it take us to reach them?" she asked. "About 6 hours if we push the engines hard," Minho answered. Sana was studying the signal more closely. "Captain, I'm reading at least 12 life forms on that ship. They're getting pulled toward a planet, and from what I can see, it's not a nice place to visit." The distress signal crackled again. This time the voice sounded even more desperate. "Please, if anyone receives this message, we are scientists on a research mission. We have never hurt anyone. Our engines are dead, and we cannot escape. The planet below us is too dangerous to land on. We will die if no one helps us." Jenny looked around at her crew. These 3 people had been with her for 2 years. They had explored new star systems together, discovered strange new planets, and always watched out for each other. "What do you think?" she asked them. Minho spoke first. "Captain, I joined this crew to help people. I don't care if they're scared of us." Sana nodded. "Those Viridians are scientists just like us. They're trying to learn about the universe. We can't let them die because some people think humans are scary." Jimin was quiet for a moment. "Captain, my job is to protect this crew. But I also think our job is to protect anyone we can help. If we ignore this call, what kind of people does that make us?" Jenny smiled. This was why she loved her crew. They always did the right thing even when it was difficult. "Besides," Sana added, "maybe if we help them, other aliens will see that humans aren't monsters. Maybe they'll learn that we're actually pretty good people to have around when there's trouble." The distress signal came through one more time, but now it was much weaker. "This is Harmony's Light. Our orbit is getting worse. We have maybe 4 hours before we crash into the planet. If anyone can hear this, please help us. We don't want to die." Jenny walked to her captain's chair and sat down. "Minho, set course. For Kepler 442. Push the engines as hard as they can go." "Yes, Captain," Minho said, his fingers flying over the controls. "Sana, I want you to learn everything you can about Viridian biology. If we're going to help them, we need to know how." "Already on it, Captain," Sana replied. "Jimin, get our rescue equipment ready, and prepare the crew for first contact with aliens who might be terrified of us." "Understood, Captain," Jimin said. As the Endurance turned toward the Kepler 442 system and jumped into faster-than-light travel, Jenny felt good about their decision. Yes, the aliens might be scared of humans. Yes, this might be dangerous, but someone was in trouble, and humans always answered when people called for help. That's what made them human. 6 hours later, the Endurance dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Kepler 442 system. Captain Jenny Kim looked at the main screen and saw something that made her heart beat faster. A beautiful alien ship was floating in space, but it was in serious trouble. The ship looked like it was made of crystal and glass with smooth curves and bright colors. It was unlike anything humans had ever built. But the ship was slowly spinning toward a large, angry-looking planet below. Minho. What can you tell me about that planet? Jenny asked. Engineer Minho Park checked his instruments. Captain, it's bad news. The planet has active volcanoes, poisonous air, and terrible storms. The surface temperature is hot enough to melt metal. If that alien ship crashes there, nobody will survive. Xenobiologist Sana Lee was studying the alien vessel. Captain, I can see damage on their ship. It looks like their engines exploded. They're completely helpless. Security Chief Jimin Choi pointed at his screen. The ship is getting pulled closer to the planet. They have maybe 2 hours before they get too close to escape. Jenny nodded. Open a communication channel to the alien ship. Minho worked at his controls. Channel open, Captain. Jenny spoke clearly into the microphone. Alien, Vessel Harmony's Light. This is Captain Jenny Kim of the human ship Endurance. We received your distress call and came to help you. Please respond. For a long moment there was only silence. Then the speaker crackled with musical sounds that the computer translated into words. Did you say human? The voice sounded shocked and scared. From the planet Terra? Yes, we're from Earth, Jenny replied. We're here to rescue you. Another long pause. Then multiple voices started talking at once in the alien language. The computer could only translate bits and pieces. Deathworld, killers, stories. Run away. Too dangerous. Finally, one voice spoke clearly. This is Petal Dancing in Starlight, leader of this research mission. You say you are humans from the Deathworld Terra? That's correct, Jenny said. And you're Viridians, right? We know your people are scientists and explorers just like us. Sana whispered. Captain, they sound terrified. On the screen, a face appeared. Jenny had never seen a Viridian before. The alien looked like a beautiful walking flower, with petals instead of hair and skin that glowed with soft colors. Right now, those colors were flashing between red and purple, which Sana quickly told her meant fear and confusion. Human Captain, Petal said carefully. We have heard many stories about your kind. They say you come from a world so dangerous that it kills most living things. They say humans are violent and unpredictable because you had to fight every day just to stay alive. Jimin rolled his eyes. Here we go again. Jenny kept her voice calm and friendly. Petal Dancing in Starlight, I understand why you might be afraid. But we're not here to hurt you, we're here because you asked for help, and humans always help people in trouble. Another Viridian appeared on the screen behind Petal. This one was smaller, with blue and white petals. The colors were flashing so fast it looked like a warning light. Captain, it said in a high voice, perhaps we should take our chances with the planet below. At least we know how that will end. Petals. Colors changed to dark green, which Sana said meant he was thinking hard. Captain Kim, may I ask you something? Of course, Jenny replied. Why did you come here? Your ship could be anywhere in the galaxy, doing anything you want. Why risk your lives for strangers who fear you? Jenny thought about how to answer. Because that's what good people do. When someone is in trouble, you help them. It doesn't matter if they're human or alien, friend or stranger. If you can help, you do. Minho checked his instruments again. Captain, their orbit is getting worse. We need to do something soon. Petal heard this, and his colors turned bright yellow with panic. We are grateful for your offer, Captain Kim, but our ship's technology is very different from yours. We grow our ships instead of building them. They are alive in a way. Your tools and methods might hurt them more. Sana leaned forward. Captain, maybe I can help. I study how different life forms work. If their ship is alive, I might be able to understand how to heal it instead of fix it. Jenny looked at Petal on the screen. We have a specialist who studies living things. Would you let her look at your ship? Petal's colors changed to soft orange, which meant he was uncertain. Behind him, other Viridians were talking quickly in their musical language. Captain Kim, Petal finally said, we are more afraid of you than we are of death, but we are also scientists, and scientists are curious. We have never met a human before. If you promise not to hurt us, we will let you try to help. You have my word, Jenny said. We're going to get you out of this. Suddenly, alarms started, ringing on both ships. Jimin looked at his screen and his face went white. Captain, big problem. The planet below is having some kind of electromagnetic storm. It's affecting both our ships. On the screen, Petal's colors went completely dark with terror. Captain Kim, our ship's shields just failed. We're going to crash into the planet. The electromagnetic storm hit both ships like an invisible hammer. Captain Jenny Kim grabbed her chair as the Endurance shook violently. Sparks flew from control panels and the lights flickered on and off. Minho, report! She shouted over the noise. Engineer Minho Park's hands moved quickly over his controls, but his face looked worried. Captain, the storm is scrambling all our systems. Our shields are failing and I can't control the engines properly. On the main screen, they could see the Viridian ship Harmony's light spinning helplessly. Its beautiful crystal surface was now dark, with no lights showing inside. Sana, can you reach them on communications? Jenny asked. Xenobiologist Sana Lee tried several frequencies. I'm getting through, but barely. They're in panic mode, Captain. Their ship is completely dead. Security Chief Jimin Choi checked his instruments. Both ships are being pulled down by the planet's gravity. The electromagnetic storm is coming from the planet itself. Every few minutes it sends out a pulse that kills electronic systems. Jenny looked at the angry red planet below them. It was covered in volcanoes and violent storms. Lightning flashed constantly in the thick, poisonous atmosphere. This was exactly the kind of world that other species called a death world. How long before we hit the atmosphere? She asked. Maybe 20 minutes. Minho replied. I'm trying to restart the engines, but every time I get them working, another electromagnetic pulse shuts them down. Through the crackling communication system, they heard Petal dancing in Starlight's voice. He sounded completely terrified. Captain Kim, are you still there? Our ship is dying. We're going to crash on a Class 15 extinction world. We're all going to die. Jenny pressed the communication button. Petal, listen to me. We're going to get through this, but I need you to stay calm. Stay calm? Petal's voice was high with fear. Captain, that planet below us can kill in 100 different ways. The air is poison, the ground is lava, and the storms can tear apart mountains. No living thing can survive there. Jimin was looking at his scanner readings. Captain, I'm seeing life signs on the planet. Big ones. There are definitely creatures living down there. Sana checked her biological sensors. He's right. I'm reading multiple life forms, some of them very large. The planet isn't dead, it's just extremely dangerous. Jenny thought quickly. Minho, can you control our landing at all? A little bit. I can try to aim for a flat area away from the worst volcanoes, but it's going to be a rough landing no matter what. Another electromagnetic pulse hit both ships. This time, the Endurance's artificial gravity failed for a few seconds and everyone floated in the air before crashing back down. That's it, Minho said. We're going down. All hands. Prepare for emergency landing. Through the communication system, they could hear the Viridians crying in their musical language. The computer translated some of it. We're doomed. Deathworld. Should have stayed home. Forgive us. Petal, can you hear me? Jenny called. Yes, Captain Kim, came the weak reply. I want you to listen carefully. This planet might be dangerous, but humans have lived on dangerous planets our whole history. We know how to survive in places like this. Once we land, we're going to protect you and your crew. Do you understand? But Captain, Petal said, humans are adapted for Deathworlds. We Viridians come from a peaceful garden planet. We've never seen violence or danger. How can we possibly survive on a world that you call dangerous? Jimin was preparing the emergency equipment. Captain, I'm getting reports of silicon-based life forms on the surface, big predators, and the atmosphere readings show it's toxic to most species, but humans can survive with basic breathing equipment. Sana was studying the planet's surface. There are geothermal vents everywhere. If we land near them, we might be able to use the heat for power and warmth. The ship shook again as they entered the planet's atmosphere. Through the windows, they could see lightning storms and red clouds of poisonous gas. The temperature outside was rising quickly. There, Minho pointed at his screen. I found a relatively flat area between two volcanoes. It has some shelter from the worst storms. Jenny strapped herself into her chair. Take us down, Minho. The landing was violent. Both ships hit the ground hard, bounced several times, and finally came to rest on the rocky surface. Smoke poured from damaged sections, and warning alarms rang throughout both vessels. When everything finally stopped moving, Jenny stood up carefully. Everyone okay? Her crew reported minor injuries, but nothing serious. Through the communication system, they could hear the Viridians crying with terror. Petal, are your people hurt? Jenny asked. 3 of my crew are injured but alive, Petal replied. His voice sounded like he was already planning their funeral. Captain Kim, we have landed on Hell itself. The ground is burning hot. The air will kill us in minutes, and I can already hear creatures moving outside our ship. Jenny looked out the window at the volcanic landscape. To her, it looked challenging but survivable. To the Viridians, it probably looked like the end of the world. Don't worry, Petal, she said calmly. We're going to take care of you. Humans are very good at making dangerous places safe. Outside, something large roared in the distance. Captain. Jenny Kim stepped outside the damaged Endurance and breathed the hot, thick air through her breathing mask. The planet's surface was covered in black rock, and steam rose from cracks in the ground. In the distance, red lava glowed from active volcanoes. Not too bad, she said to herself. Reminds me of that camping trip in Hawaii. Behind her, Engineer Minho Park was already pulling equipment from the ship. Captain, I can set up a temporary shelter using parts from both ships. The geothermal heat will give us power. Security Chief Jimin Choi scanned the area with his weapon ready. I count at least 6 different animal calls within 1 kilometer. Some of them sound really big. Xenobiologist Sana Lee was excited as she studied her readings. This is amazing. The silicon-based life forms here have adapted to live in temperatures that would kill most carbon-based species. This planet is like a living laboratory. From the Viridian ship 50 meters away, they could hear musical crying sounds. The aliens were still trapped inside their damaged vessel, too scared to come out. Jenny walked over to their ship and spoke into her communicator. Petal, we need to get your injured crew members to our medical bay. Can you open your door, Captain? Kim, came Petal dancing in Starlight's terrified voice. The air outside will kill us in seconds. The ground is so hot it will burn our roots, and the sounds... What are those terrible sounds? Those are just local animals, Jenny said calmly. We'll give you breathing equipment and protective gear. You'll be safe. Safe? Another Viridian voice cried. We are on a world that kills everything. How can we be safe? Jimin had set up a defensive perimeter around both ships. Captain, the Viridians aren't wrong about the danger. I'm reading some very large predators moving in this direction. We should get everyone inside a secure shelter soon. Minho had already started building. Using metal plates from both ships, he was constructing a strong shelter near a geothermal vent. This will give us heat, power, and protection from the storms, he explained. After an hour of careful convincing, the Viridians finally agreed to leave their ship. When they stepped outside wearing human breathing gear, they moved like they were walking through a nightmare. Every sound made them jump with fear. Every gust of hot wind made them huddle together. The ground burns, whispered one Viridian, whose name translated as soft breeze in garden. The air tastes like death, added another called morning dew on petals. Petal, dancing in starlight, looked around with his colors flashing dark purple with terror. Captain Kim, How can you and your crew work so calmly in this hell? Are humans truly so different from other life forms? Sana was helping the injured Viridians while she explained. Petal. Humans evolved on a planet with earthquakes, hurricanes, dangerous animals, and deadly diseases. We learned to adapt and overcome problems instead of running away from them. But this is so much worse than any normal world, Petal said. Jenny smiled. Actually, this reminds me of my grandmother's farm in Texas. Hot, dry, and full of things that could hurt you if you weren't careful. The Viridians stared at her like she was insane. As the day continued, the differences became more obvious. The humans worked efficiently, turning the hostile environment into a temporary home. Minho set up power systems using the planet's natural heat. Sana found edible minerals in the rocks that could feed the Viridians. Jimin built walls and barriers to keep out dangerous animals. Meanwhile, the Viridians jumped at every sound and treated every task like it might kill them. When Jenny asked one of them to help carry some equipment, he acted like she had asked him to jump into lava. "You want me to touch the metal that has been sitting in the poison air?" Soft Breeze and Garden asked in horror. "It's just hot," Jenny replied. "Use these gloves." That evening, as both groups sat around a heating unit Minho had built, they heard a sound that made everyone freeze. It was a deep roaring noise that seemed to shake the ground. Jimin stood up quickly, grabbing his weapon. Something big is coming. Multiple contacts. Through the red mist and steam, shapes began to appear. They were huge creatures that looked like living mountains of crystal and rock. Each one was the size of a building, with glowing eyes and massive claws that scraped against the stone ground. The Viridians screamed and their colors flashed pure white with terror. "We're all dead," Petal cried. "Those are silicon giants. They can crush starships." But the humans reacted differently. Jimin immediately started giving orders. "Minho, trigger that rock slide we prepared on the north slope. Sana, start the steam. Fence to create cover. Captain, get the Viridians behind the main barrier." "What are you doing?" Petal asked as Jenny pushed him toward safety. "What humans do," she replied. "We protect our friends." The first creature charged toward their camp, its massive feet making the ground shake. But instead of running or hiding, the humans used the dangerous planet itself as a weapon. 3 days later, Captain Jenny Kim was teaching Petal Dancing in Starlight how to cook food using the planet's geothermal heat when their emergency beacon finally worked. A message came through the communication system. "This is Admiral Kethvar of the Galactic Confederation Rescue Fleet. We received your emergency signal. Please respond." Jenny pressed the communication button. "Admiral, this is Captain Kim of the human vessel Endurance. We have rescued the crew of the Viridian ship Harmony's Light. All crew members are alive and safe." There was a long pause. "Did you say all crew members are alive? On Infernus 7? "That's correct, Admiral." "Impossible. Infernus 7 is classified as a Class 15 extinction world. Nothing can survive there for more than a few hours." Petal looked at Jenny and his colors changed to bright yellow, which Sana had learned meant amusement. "Should I tell him, Captain?" Jenny smiled. "Go ahead." Petal took the communication device. "Admiral Kethvar, this is Petal Dancing in Starlight, leader of the Viridian research mission. Not only are we alive, but the humans have made this death world into a comfortable temporary home." When the rescue ships arrived and landed near their camp, Admiral Kethvar stepped out wearing full protective gear. He was a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms and large eyes. He looked around in complete shock. The humans had built a small village using pieces from both crashed ships. They had power, clean water, comfortable shelters, and even a garden where Sana was growing food in the volcanic soil. The Viridians were walking around freely, helping with daily tasks and no longer afraid of every sound. "How is this possible?" Admiral Kethvar asked. Engineer Minho Park was fixing a water purifier. "Admiral, it's really not that hard. You just have to understand how the environment works and use it to help you instead of fighting it." "But the predators?" the Admiral asked. "The toxic atmosphere? The constant volcanic activity?" "Security." Chief Jimin Choi pointed to the barriers around the camp. "The predators leave us alone now. We showed them we could defend ourselves, so they hunt elsewhere. The atmosphere is only toxic if you breathe it directly. These filters solve that problem, and the volcanic activity gives us free heat and power. The Admiral walked through the camp like he was touring a miracle. Viridians and humans were working together, sharing meals and actually laughing together. Soft breeze in garden was helping Sana collect mineral samples. At first I thought humans were monsters from a Deathworld, he told the Admiral. But I learned that what makes them seem dangerous is actually what makes them wonderful friends. They see problems and find solutions. They face danger to protect others. Morning Dew on Petals was learning how to use human tools from Minho. They never complained about helping us even though we were afraid of them. When those giant creatures attacked, they could have just protected themselves. Instead, they risked their lives to keep us safe. Petal Dancing and Starlight joined the Admiral, his colors now a steady, warm gold. Admiral, I must make a formal statement to the Galactic Council about humanity. What kind of statement? Admiral Kethavar asked. For centuries we have told stories about humans that made them sound like violent killers from a world so terrible it breeds monsters. But I have lived with them for 3 days, and I have learned the truth. Petal gestured toward the humans, who were helping the rescue crews load equipment. Yes, they come from a dangerous world. Yes, they are incredibly tough and skilled at fighting. But those same qualities make them the best friends any species could have. When we called for help, they came. When we were afraid of them, they were patient. When we crashed on this nightmare planet, they saved us. Jenny walked over to join the conversation. Admiral, I know most aliens are afraid of humans, but we're not looking for anyone to fear us. We just want to explore the galaxy and help where we can. Admiral Kethavar looked at her thoughtfully. Captain Kim, in my 40 years of service, I have never seen anything like this. You took a species that was terrified of you and turned them into allies in just 3 days. We didn't do anything special, Jenny replied. We just treated them like friends. Petal's colors brightened even more. Captain, that is exactly my point. You did something that many species consider impossible. You made a Deathworld livable. You protected people who feared you, and you did it all because it was the right thing to do. 6 months later, Petal Dancing and Starlight stood before the Galactic Council to give his report. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from dozens of species, all listening carefully. The Viridian Collective formally requests a permanent alliance with humanity, he announced. We have learned that humans are not the monsters we believe them to be. They are the people you call when the impossible becomes possible, when hope seems lost, and when someone needs help that no one else can give. In the back of the hall, Captain Jenny Kim sat with her crew, watching as the galaxy began to see humans in a new way. Admiral Kethavar approached them after the meeting. Captain Kim, the Council has approved the first joint human-alien deep space exploration mission. Would you and your crew be interested? Jenny looked at Minho, Sana, and Jimin, who all nodded with excitement. When do we start? She asked. As the meeting ended, Petal found Jenny in the hallway. Captain, thank you for answering our distress call. Thank you for giving us a chance, she replied. Now the whole galaxy will know the truth about humans, Petal said. You are not the children of a death world. You are the guardians who come when others call for help.